this weekend.
Yeah. Evergreen coming up this weekend. Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. Evergreen is coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's been all hands on deck.
I didn't mean we were already going. I meant, are you ready for Evergreen?
Oh, sorry.
We were already going on the podcast. Good night. So are you ready for Evergreen?
I'm ready. Well, as ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah.
So I've got some time blocked tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. So
I was talking to the husband today of one of the ladies who's going to be joining you.
Aww.
And he said that his wife is very, very excited. Mm-hmm. And I said, if they just... And I said, you were really, really excited. And it's been cool watching you, get pregnant with this thing and it's about to be birthed and just watching the preparation, all the thought, the prayer, the anticipation, the excitement, the work. I mean, just everything. And, and then you feeling like, I was just telling him the inside scoop on you being, feeling a little bit nervous about all the logistics because you want everything to be perfect and not even the content, but just because you're a host and a hostess with the mostest, how your gift of hospitality is just, you want everything to be, so perfect and so right and it to be comfortable and welcoming and everyone to feel seen and heard. And there's just so much, there's so many details, all the logistics, So, and I said, if they just showed up, if they just brought their PJs and just showed up and were just together and just present, got to breathe and just getting out of your normal routine and getting away from sometimes husbands and kids. And anyway, it's going to be great. So it's been cool to watch you more than anything, just be so excited about it. You literally cannot wait.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be a blessing to everyone there.
I really am very excited. I do have to keep my emotions in check. And so you were very helpful with me. I actually posted about that today. I don't know if you read it, but
nope.
On Sunday, in our vision meeting, just kind of being able to be open and vulnerable about how I was feeling, because probably starting Friday, I felt it kind of amping up a little bit, like my nerves and kind of just some, like really anticipating and having some excitement, but also just feeling just kind of nervy and anxious. And it started to kind of overwhelm my thoughts. And I felt like, I've got such a long list, but I felt paralyzed. Like, what do I work on next? And I'm like, I've got to work on like what I'm going to share. Like the notes in my note section of my phone looked like literally like some kind of chaotic craziness. And so I've got to, whip those into shape and get my mind kind of organized around that. And so anyway, I spent some time Saturday just being still and quiet and listening and just trying to, let the creator of my crazy brain help kind of get it, back centered again. And so then on, I felt...
Isn't that cool too? You're a co-creator. He has created you in his image. That's what I love. And so you're a creator. You're creating things. It's so funny. So we've got ideas that become reality. If I think it up, we create, I think up a chair and we create a chair and we're sitting in a chair. Or I create, I think up a melody and then I create that on the piano. I play a song on the guitar or whatever. But you create this space for women and and the idea is not just the things that you communicate, the ideas, but also just the space to breathe and to relax and to, maybe cold plunge and to feel things and get inside your body and be present. And anyway, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate on Sunday that during our vision meeting, I think you just kind of said, hey, how are you feeling, with everything with Evergreen? And so as I shared with you kind of where I found myself like, was spiraling a little bit just into my, thoughts and letting it kind of take over. And you saying, just reminding me, taking me back to what's important. Like, this is your joy. Like, this is what you love. You're great at this. You love to spend time with women. Women enjoy being with you. This is going to be really good. And so don't miss the forest for the trees.
Right.
You know, don't get so bogged down in all the details that you miss the moment, you know. And
look
so
forward and
anyway,
think about picturing and visualizing the fun and being excited and having fun and just the joy of it. Yeah. Many times we worry about the wrong things.
Yeah.
But it's hard to learn that, especially when you feel most of our lives we felt like we've had to perform or, be perfect, but it's about people. It's about
And the funny thing is that I feel like I'm the least kind of perfectionist person, but whenever I have, it's just a huge undertaking. We're going to be 4 hours from home. It's not like, someone can just run
there's
by.
A lot.
And so there's
you
just
want it to be
lot
well
of moving
done.
parts. I want it to just be really good. And there's a lot of different things to think about. And so, I get that my brain could stay in that kind of wild and woolly space of, but I am so thankful now to know myself to the point where I can say, wait a second, stop, wait. I have a choice. I can choose whether I'm just going to let my mind continue to, just stay in a kind of wild and crazy place, or I can stop and use the tools that I know that I'm actually going to talk about at Evergreen.
Right.
So anyway, just,
it's cool too when you're going to go do anything like to bless other people or, a retreat or some kind of class or any kind of, session or whatever. A lot of times the teacher gets taught the week before or the 2 weeks before or whatever. It's just that some of that preparation and some of that stuff that comes back to roost in your own lap. It's like, oh, I need to learn this lesson, or look at this.
I'm the object lesson.
Right.
It's me.
Yeah, well, it's going to be great.
Well, thank you. So I've had some people say, hey, I'm so sad to miss this one. And we do have one ticket left. So when you hear this, if it's still available, we have one single bed in the community room, one of the community rooms.
This is your nudge, unless you're from Norway. Yes. Probably wouldn't work. But.
Maybe not, but maybe. But also, I've had people say, I'm so sad that I can't be at this one. Are you going to do another one? Yes, we will have another one. I'm not sure when. Maybe springtime. We'll see.
Well, since it's evergreen, it could be all year long.
It could be all year long. So anyway.
So you had a conversation with someone today who just reached out and was wanting to talk about some stuff, and it led us to talking about some of the things in our faith world, Christianity, our belief in God and how we relate to God. And many times when we've been disappointed or when we're struggling with maybe some resentment or bitterness and some of the ideas that we have about God, like, is it, and just not just the client that reached out to you or the friend that reached out to you, but just the couple we talked to even yesterday about that. So you want to jump into that? I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Just some of the stuff that you were thinking about around that.
Yeah. So she texted and just said, hey, do you have time for a quick phone call? And kind of couched it by saying, I have some kind of dumb questions.
Right.
So first of all,
questions.
that was the key.
What are the only dumb
okay,
questions?
so
the ones that we don't ask.
So I knew there was usually in that question, there's some kind of embarrassment or some kind of shame when you say, I just have like a couple of dumb questions,
right.
Kind of trying to minimize it a little bit.
Right.
So as we got into it, and I'll spare some of the details, but it really boiled down to, and she could barely let the words come out of her mouth. But after she told me kind of the whole story, what was going on, she just had to say it. She said, so I find myself not knowing like how to deal with these feelings I'm having. And so I said, so tell me more. And she basically said, I think I'm angry with God and just
Question mark
could
on
barely
the end, inflection going up.
Am I about to be struck by lightning just by mentioning that over the phone to you? And if I put a question mark, maybe it doesn't make it so. So if he were to be really angry that I just said I'm angry with him,
just a question.
He won't, cast me down.
Me, almighty smiter.
So it made me, then you and I had a really good conversation after that, but she and I talked for a while, and I related personally with, and we can talk about this in a little bit, but personally where I have felt that I had some anger with God and how that was kind of exposed in me, like God exposed it, I believe. And then how that conversation with our friends yesterday went through a really pretty, a deep experiential exercise that brought out our friends' anger towards God and didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, well, we're not, the way we were raised in church was that's not allowed. God's perfect. Hey, he doesn't make any mistakes. He's loving and he's, he's God. And so if you have any problems with him, that's your problem. You need to get over it. And so stuff it. So we just learned to squash it, like stuff it down and just don't deal with it. And it's got to go somewhere. Like, where's that anger going to go? Where's that resentment going to go? And I mean, it's going to come out sideways at some point. But then when you get into a place where someone gives you permission to let it out, and then, man, we're surprised. It's like, oh my gosh.
Lift that lid, and what bubbles out is sometimes surprising. Yeah. Well, as I talked to her today, I shared with her that it's like God created you. He knows your heart. He knows what you're thinking and feeling. And it's not like he's like, what? You're angry with me? Like I believe he knows what's going on in that head of yours. And so we act like we get brownie points by holding it in and not sharing it. And so I shared, think about your father. And she had an amazing dad. Think about your father. If you had, there was a block there between you, there was that wedge, and it was because you couldn't be honest or you wouldn't be honest. How would it feel to your father if you went to him and said, I need to talk, and just said it all? Just like, don't hold back, just let it rip. How would that make your father feel? There's probably as a human, you're feeling, ow, that hurts, or that makes me sad, or, but overall you're thinking, thank the Lord, she's getting this out. This is what's been blocking, our relationship from growing, the health of our relationship. And so anyway.
Especially if the father had wisdom that went beyond any defensiveness or got him over any kind of, I'm to blame for this. He has this knowing, this insight, and this huge, obviously, God wisdom that said, I'm not going to own this. This isn't about me, right? This is, of course, you struggle because of your understanding of where you are in this situation and just how sympathetic, empathetic he would be, right? He would want to hear that. It wouldn't be, I'm defensive because he's God. Yeah. Yeah.
So I shared with her, and I thought you could maybe share with us, but when you had to process through your anger at God and the visual that you told me about the cartoon, and I tried to explain it to her, and I think she's too young to.
Oh yeah,
I was telling my age.
Popeye cartoon. So Bluto. Popeye. So Popeye had his friend Brutus, right? I guess he went by several names.
If you pronounce it like me, Popeye.
Popeye, you say yes. Popeye. And but anyway, I could just, whether it was olive oil or Popeye or Brutus, there was the picture. I just remember there was one person with this really, really long arm, and he had the arm on the forehead of the person, maybe Popeye, and Popeye's just swinging it out, right? And so you're swinging your arms, trying to hit, just picture two boxers, and one has the wingspan that's a lot longer. And so the one is just swinging it out, trying to hit. And that one has the hand on the forehead saying, come on, swing it out, just swing it out. And then finally, when you're just done and you've expended all your energy, he says, okay, come here. He removes his hand from your forehead and just, allows you to come in and just collapse on his chest and hug, say, here, come here, I can take it. And
I think that's such a beautiful picture. Yeah.
So we have a hard time, we feel heretical saying, or blasphemous to say, I need to forgive God, or I'm angry with God. I'm angry with you. It's like, how dare us, right? Approach him with any kind of, because he's perfect. So what gave you permission finally to, if we don't speak our unpleasant truth, our truth finds a way to speak unpleasantly, right? So, and it'll come out, and it's,
say
or you
that
push
one
it down.
more time.
If you don't speak we all have unpleasant truths, and if you don't speak your unpleasant truth, your truth finds a way to speak unpleasantly. And so that's what's coming out in our lives, in our bodies, with stress, our physiological, our symptoms when we get sick. It comes out in relationships. And so, we have to get it out. But again, we were just taught that's just one place. You just don't get upset with God, and you sure as heck can't share it. You got to stuff it. And I think we missed the boat on Job when we read that and interpret that, because that's really what that's about. It's about us having no clue, and never getting any answers, honestly. But so what gave you, I guess, the permission to finally say, you know what, I think I need to forgive God, to be able to say that out loud and not feel blasphemous? Well,
it's kind of crazy. I feel like God gave me the permission himself. It came straight from the horse's mouth. So we were at some kind of I think it was like a Kairos weekend or something at a church close by. And one of the exercises was we were supposed to all separate in this big auditorium, and it was this forgiveness exercise that they kind of walked us through. And then we were going to have some alone time to identify people that we needed to forgive. Who had we harbored resentment towards? Who had we not allowed ourselves to forgive? And so I went and sat down, and the first thought that comes to me is like, wow, I wonder what's going to happen, with all these people. And I'm just gawking at everybody else. And then I'm like, okay, get serious. Like I need to really think about this. And I could not come up with anyone. I'm like if Brian's ever hurt me, I mean, like
you've already hashed it out with me.
I've forgiven
Speaking
him.
Of swinging it out.
Like I don't, I don't think there's anything like for my mom or my dad, and bless their hearts, they're gone. And I really tried to go back and try to think of someone. And as I looked around the auditorium, all these people were crying or having these breakthroughs and aha moments. And I'm just sitting there going,
play.
Oh,
I need to go out.
I know, I'm going to leave now. And so I thought, what am I going to do? Because I don't know what's going to come next. So here I am, just worried.
You may be put on the spot. You got to make something up.
Yeah,
they're
going to, we're going to come back into these groups, and they're going to have a share, and I'm not going to have one person.
Yep.
And I can't, so I'm like, okay, God, now I'm really being serious. I don't know, we don't have a lot more time here, and I need to be able to say something. So bring someone to mind. Am I going to have to make something up? You're going to have to help me here. And so I really just kind of hunkered down and said, God, please help me. And I closed my eyes and just said, who is it that I need to forgive? And I just got real still and quiet, didn't look around anymore at what was happening around me. But I really kind of went inside myself and just asked the Spirit to help me, just reveal something to me. And I felt the Spirit say to me, not loud, I just felt it, Jamie, you need to forgive me. And I was like, what is that? What do you mean I need to forgive you? And really, I remember going in my head saying, is that even a thing? Like, what's that called? When you need to forgive God, does it have a name? I've never heard of that before. And it was really foreign for me. And I really thought, really? Do I? It was a mystery even to myself. It wasn't like, no, I don't want to admit that. No, I can't admit that. That thought popped into my head. And it's weird. I guess maybe before I had felt like, God, you could have done something about this, or why didn't you do? I'd ask questions, after we lost Corbin, our 2-year-old son. Of course, I had questions like, I guess I'll just never know. But I really did not feel like I pushed down a lot of anger. Mm-hmm. I was just, bless my heart, I was trying to process as much as I could. But in that moment, I guess it was time, because I asked the question, who is it that I need to forgive? And I sensed, you need to forgive me. And so what is that? God, teach me what that's about. Is that even a thing? Yeah. Am I allowed? I mean, I started asking all those questions. Right. What would that look like if I were angry at you? And if I were angry at you, describe, tell me more.
So I must have let the sun go down on my anger. Yeah. And I must be harboring some resentment or some bitterness or something, because you're saying.
But as soon as it was almost like I opened one door that led to another door, that led to another door. And I just kept going through every door that was a question. And I felt like I was getting a little bit deeper, almost like God was saying, you're warmer, like you're getting close. And then I hit the mother load. And I remember feeling like, oh yeah. Yep, there it is. There it is. I'm hitting the nerve now. And I remember feeling like, yeah. Let's talk about Corbin.
You know what? You're saying you want me to do it, and you put the gloves on.
So here we go. So, okay, now that you've brought it up, and then my attitude turned like really snarky almost.
Oh,
and
I know
that snarky attitude. And I said, okay, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's all coming back to me now. Now I'm down to the deepest level underneath a lot of stuff that I've covered on top of it. Okay. So now let's talk about this. If you're the creator of life, so the last time I read in Psalms where you knitted Corbin together in my womb, you created him. Well, guess what? You messed up. You messed up because he was not created correctly. And that's what started this whole thing. And so, like, are you going to own up to that? Yeah. Like, is that just something that was going to just slip right by me? Yeah. And all of a sudden I became
taking a break on the assembly line. Yeah. Oops. How'd that get out?
So,
how'd that one go through?
As I went through that door, and this could be where you feel like, well, Jamie, that's a slippery slope. Where's that going to lead to? Like
whose voice is that?
The enemy.
No.
Myself.
No. Who would say that? Like it sounded like, is that a mom or a dad who would tell you that?
Like it's a church person.
Yeah, there you go.
I think like kind of
when
like
you
a
said,
church.
well, Jamie, I felt like you, Gaynell was talking to you. God love her and rest her soul.
Yeah, I think I picture it more as like a church leader. Like, that's a slippery slope. You probably better not go there.
There you know.
Anyway, so as I went further, it was almost like just more and more was exposed of my heart towards like deep down questions that I don't think I had even allowed myself to ask. But so did you create him messed up? Because no one else is going to own that. Like, you're the owner of creation. So let's go ahead and put that right on you. And so as I went through that, then it was just like, you could have done something about it. Now, I wasn't yelling all of this out loud, but inside I was having this duke it out match with God, and tears were flowing. I was like, please don't ring the bell now. I'm right in the big middle of a moment. And so luckily we had plenty of time, but I think I let out an ocean of tears that had been really covered up by a lot of questions that I wasn't really, maybe I wasn't ready yet, or I don't know, but it was such a time as this. That was the time.
Yeah. And I feel like it was almost like a wall came down between us, because when you grieve separately, and we've all got our different faith journey, and we've got our different thoughts about God and about what he's doing, what he's not doing. But I remember feeling like there was, maybe you would have called it spiritual pride. Like, I'm not supposed to struggle that way. And no, I wouldn't be mad at God, you know, and people say, well, did you ever blame God, or were you mad at God? And I feel like maybe, it finally came for you where you could say that out loud. And I remember it for me, and again, that swing it out. I remember that visual came after I was walking at Green Valley Park, right across the street from Green Valley Elementary. And I was going on one of my walks, and this happened for me pretty early in the process. So I'd already gone through that. And I felt that's when I say a wall came down, I was like, okay, welcome back. Welcome to the club. Like, we were honest, maybe because we grieve differently again, and we had different, everybody believes differently. We had our different faith journeys during that, but I felt like that was probably one of the splits that happened for us, and it felt kind of scary, and I went my way and you went your way. And I feel like just having that common ground about being honest about that helped us feel closer and more intimate, and start to share the grief a little bit again. But early on, I remember describing the feeling of, I never really in my head said, okay, today I stopped praying, like made a decision to stop praying to God. But I remember thinking, well, if he's the God of the sunshine and the rain, if God's sovereign, if God's going to do what he's going to do anyway, why waste my breath? And I guess I felt that enough to where I just stopped praying. And if praying is defined as talking to God, the first time I opened my mouth and really my fists and directed a really strong thought towards God, it was walking around that. And I took both hands. I was walking around, and all this was just boiling, and it just welled up. It was like a volcano erupted. And I took both of my hands, and I threw my hands up, and I won't talk about the gestures that came with both hands, but some may call it the double gun salute. And I just said, I said, blank you. And I said that out loud and to the heavens, right? And just picture that person swinging it out, the little kid swinging it out, and to what I thought, at the time was the bully, right? And he had his hand on my forehead. But when he let me do that and didn't strike, lightning didn't strike. I didn't, break my leg and fall over into the pond and drown. I didn't fall over with a heart attack. I felt just this release. And basically it was like, you know what? If you are the God of the sunshine, you're also the God of the rain. If you create and you created my son, you could have created him perfectly, And it was all that. And it was as if, man, when the tears started flowing, it was as if he just embraced me like I've never been embraced before, because I'd never been that honest with him about my question, my doubt, my anger, my brokenness. It's like, dude, I'm struggling here. It was like the Rich Mullins. Why are you playing hard to get, dude? I mean, we're doing the best we can here. But I believe that prayer, it's like, wow, that's my first prayer back into the prayer life. But
this is going real well.
I that is a turning point in my life. Like that started to forge the faith in the God that I now believe exists. Like the one I was believing in before maybe didn't exist. It was the one who does this if I do that, and always does this if I pray enough or believe enough or anoint with enough oil. And now it's the God that exists and that I worship no matter what. Yeah. And that is the God of the sunshine and the rain. And the rain falls on the just and the unjust. And I don't get it, and I won't understand it. And there are no answers. So anytime somebody starts to try to explain what God's doing, it's like, just be careful. Yeah. Yeah. Are you so sure? It was like today, somebody saying, well, what, I'm looking for the lesson God's trying to teach me, just the journey of being in that place where you think God's teaching you a lesson, that's where the growth comes.
Yeah.
It's not even about figuring it out or learning the lesson, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's just being in that place where, man, you realize this ain't working the way I thought it would or thought it would. And that disruption, that interruption, those disruptions that come in and that just below us and our understanding and our ego and the way we think things should work. And when those get blown out of the water and we're disoriented and we really have to fall to our knees and say, man, I need help. I need you. I remember during that time, for the first time, hearing the lyrics to that song, Breath of Heaven. And, I'd heard it. We did it around Christmas time, candlelight Christmas Eve services. And when Mary says, help me be strong, help me help me. It's like she, and you just think it's this lyric, it's this little, part of the song. But when you hear how she's stripping that down, and I remember saying,
beautiful.
if the music would have allowed, it would have been really good to take it one step further to help.
Just help.
Because that is the prayer. Help me be strong. And then, how about help me be? And then help me. And just, how about just help? Just squeak out help.
Yeah.
Woo.
Wow, that's good.
Why are you making me?
That's good. I didn't make you.
Are you chopping onions over there? Dang.
Well,
it's allergies.
Just
I was walking
after,
today.
My experience where God revealed that I needed to forgive him. After that experience, it wasn't as if, okay, woo, everything is just like I feel like everything is tied up with a bow. All that business was taken care of. All my questions are answered, and here we go. No,
like
for me, it was now we're talking. Now this is the beginning. Let's start over. You want to? And so I felt like it was just an invitation. Like, okay, awesome. We got that out in the open. You've finally dug down deep enough to where you could kind of hit the mother lode and let me have it. And I'm big enough. Like I knew what was down there. It's not like you were getting brownie points for just stuffing more stuff on top of it.
Yeah,
like
quit covering
point,
with all the churchy answers. When you said, now you're talking. Okay, I want to know. I know it anyway. Thank you. Now you're talking. Yeah. Now you're getting honest.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that because when you were sharing that Kairos story, I thought to myself, it's so funny because this old concept for me, this old concept of God being out there versus being in here. And you hear me, everyone hears me say it all the time. We are the manifest presence of God in the world because Christ lives in us. Jesus went away and he said, don't freak out. I'm coming back. And where am I going to be? In your heart, a temple not made with hands. I reside in you. We have the gift of the Holy Spirit, the Christ in us, living in us. And so two things. One is if I'm feeling something like, is it okay to feel like that's God in you feeling it? So think about that. Like really spend some time meditating on that. What does that mean if God's feeling that with you?
Yeah. Right?
He's feeling it in you. And so instead of separating it out and being this separate, God's out there and I'm here. And then the other thing I thought of when you told that story is when you need to forgive me. If I heard that now, I would think I need to forgive me. It wouldn't be God. It would be the Brian. I need to forgive, like, Brian, maybe you need to forgive yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
So I mean,
that's good.
So if you had to look back and think, maybe you needed to forgive Jamie.
Maybe I need to think. That's a whole other thing. I need to think. Let's do that. Talk about that on the next podcast. That'll give me something to think about. But I did just think about, even in the garden when Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I said standing in the auditorium, and if we could see that in, I guess it has been in a movie or The Chosen or something like that, I bet it would
Just wait, man. Mel Gibson's Resurrection coming up. Oh, man. Dude.
I would imagine there would be some anger, at least undertones to that when Jesus cried out to him. So I feel like we're in good company if we can admit and be honest.
Yeah, it's that now you're talking. Mm-hmm. And just so for me, I think that revolution, it's like how in the world can y'all be sure? Like, are we, heretics giving people permission to forgive God or be angry with God or think they need to forgive God or be honest with God? It's like, absolutely. No, that's like he wants to be intimate with you. Do you tell your spouse if you're angry? How in the world would you ever move forward if you just stuffed every emotion you have? And so, I think he's more than big enough to handle that. And
that's a great example, like with your spouse, where you said, if you would you not tell them? If I'm ever like miffed or kind of angry or hurt by you, and I think, just don't bring it up, just push it down. It's usually going to come out, like you said, you've seen me kind of snarky or snippy or cold, just kind of cold. It's going to come out sideways somehow, no matter how great of an actress maybe I think I am. And so if you think about that, if you translate that into how our relationship is with God, whether we know it or not, I mean, it's in there and there's a wall being built. So like, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you today. Yeah. I'm not going to spend any time with you today, and I believe it will come out sideways just like it does with your spouse.
Well, that's good, babe. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a good one. That one's a good podcast to leave it right there. So before we wind it up for today, I want to hear your prediction, because when this comes, by the time people are hearing this, we will know who won the national championship. So do you know who the underdogs are?
Let's
see. Underdog is as far as the team?
Let me guess. I really don't know. Okay. But here's who I believe is playing tonight. Miami and Indiana Hoosiers.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes.
And what's the Miami? It's the Miami
Hurricanes.
What? There you go.
Hurricanes, baby. Hurricanes and Hoosiers.
Hurricanes are a huge underdog. Indiana is supposed to win tonight. So are you taking Indiana?
You know what? I think I'm taking Indiana.
Okay.
I think I am.
I knew you were going to say that. And since you're taking Indiana.
Mendoza's nice. I've seen him in interviews. He's nice.
He's nice.
He's a nice
you don't
kid.
Know him, but
well, he might be horrible.
He could be a psychotic.
Evil.
Yeah. No, just kidding. So you're taking Indiana.
I think
I'm going to take Miami.
Sweet.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Because it's 3.33x if they win. So I'm going to put my $5 on Miami because it's a bigger payout. All right, guys, we will see you on the flip side.
Alrighty.
Adios. You like my hat, by the way?
Yes. He is wearing his cowboy sharpshooter hat.
And my house shoes.